at Shelter Island, it's looking like a beautiful day is on tap. A nonprofit organization called Saved in America has been helping parents and law enforcement locate missing or exploited children since 2014. And joining us this morning with more on their efforts ahead of National Human Trafficking Awareness Day is Saved in America case manager, Mr. Joshua Travers. Mr. Travers, good morning. Nice to have you on.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much for your ongoing service, as today happens to be National Law Enforcement Recognition Day, if you will. So we thank you so much. What you guys do at Saved in America is so incredible. I mean, you are helping to save these, in many cases, children's lives by finding them at no charge to family members. And here we are talking about something very difficult to talk about, which is human sex trafficking that is rampant, even in our community. Joshua, talk to us about the issue at hand and what you guys have seen through the years.
Well, Saved in America was an idea long before we started in December of 2014. And it started with an article about Brittany Drexel and how she was taken and transported across state lines, trafficked. And then when they were done with her, they killed her and fed her to alligators. And we said, wow, that sounds like something that doesn't happen in the U.S. And so we started researching and realized that it was a really big pandemic, with the San Diego region being the second largest human trafficking corridor and the second largest corridor for child sex trafficking in the U.S. And we said, well, somebody has to do something. And I can tell you now that as a law enforcement officer in Charlottesville, Virginia, and working as a law enforcement liaison with tons of departments, departments love us because these investigations are really hard to do. They take a lot of time, a lot of man hours, and that's what we want to do. We want to support the parents and support our law enforcement communities and helping bring these children home.
You know, in these cases where you are going out and everybody, you know, the team goes out and they search for these missing children, many of them, regardless of the circumstance, they may have been runaways, they were, you know, troubled kids. Maybe they weren't troubled kids. Maybe they came from good families, but then they just, you know, got sucked into this way of life. You're helping these families locate their children at no cost. How are you able to do that?
Almost every single dime comes from the donation and charity of, you know, people across San Diego and across the nation that see this. We just released our 4th edition of the investigation of missing and exploited children. And I just had a letter recently come in from somebody that's own adult daughter got into this sex trafficking and kind of researched it, found our book, read our book, was able to help find his child, and then said, I had no idea this was going on to children that were 10, 11, and 12. And he anonymously donated a bunch of money. And that's how people come through. They donate money. Our volunteers donate their time. Everything's all volunteer.
That's incredible. And to date, how many children, do you have a number in terms of how many children you've been able to save?
247 children since December of 2014. Last year, we assisted in 11 children. That's one a month. Even during a pandemic where it was really hard to get the team together, we were still able to use social networking, put a few boots on the ground, and be able to work with law enforcement, still recover almost one child a month.
That's incredible. And then taking this even a step further, I know that one of the accomplishments by Saved in America is assisting many times in the sentencing of these predators. What stands out to you about that?
You know, it's one thing to be able to rescue a child and to take them from, you know, to see the look on their face. It's another when you can see the parent finally get justice for what happened to their child. And just in 2020, in the state of Nevada, we helped with the prosecution of a subject who ended up getting 8 years in the Nevada State Penitentiary. And then on top of that, we went one step further and were able to get a $250,000 civil judgment against another perpetrator. And then in 2019, we were able to get money to give a scholarship to one of the survivors of trafficking and be able to send her to vocational training.
Well, that is incredible. Joshua Travers, thank you in more ways than one on behalf of the San Diego community and behalf of all parents and families who have children. Thank you for the hard work, and you and the rest of the volunteers, everyone involved in Saved in America. You guys are precious, what you do. We appreciate your time this morning. I know we will touch base with you as we go along here because, as you mentioned, San Diego is number 2 on the list when it comes to child sex trafficking, believe it or not. And I know the work that you do in helping other law enforcement try to do their work is just beyond. So thank you so much. And again, thank you for your service today.
Thank you very much. God bless.